Okay, this is the Rotherham View with Reece at Terrace Talk. Good evening, Reece. We're going to talk about the sacking of Matt Taylor first, and then we'll talk about your managers and then what's going on at your club. First of all, when you heard the news, were you surprised?
No, not really. To be fair, obviously, I think a few times we spoke before in the last few weekends with the games. Every time he's lost away and he's not, performed really well. It's been one of the conversations we've had where is he looking at is his job threatened? So it's not a surprise at all.
The manner of which you went to Watford and lost, it wasn't just another away defeat, was it? It was a bit of a mauling.
Yeah, yeah. It were a mauling. I'd say it was an embarrassment. To be fair, it was when you go that distance to travel and it's a 1-0 defeat. It's a killer anyway, but when it's 5-0, it makes it worse. I think it's very slow drive home. I think.
Yeah, I mean, but you've watched them, haven't you? I mean, you travel and do all the hard yards, so you're far better placed than me to comment on this. But from my observations, it didn't seem like the players were against him. It seemed like they were still playing for him. I know the results perhaps don't speak to that, but those home games. When you look at the Ipswich game, I mean, you've enjoyed some really great results this season against Norwich at home, Coventry. Have come there and have really come unstuck against Rotherham. He's really kind of at times clicked you into gear. So, or am I imagining that? I don't think he'd lost a dressing room, or had he?
Yeah, I think that I think for me it were 50-50. I think some of the games at home we've watched, although they have won, they've not played to 100% that we've seen them play before. It's just like at the minute, it just seemed to me every time we played at home, they've been really well. It's just the away games been absolute atrocious, and I know he's mentioned before on some videos it went down to travel sickness and they're not feeling very well without that kind of thing. But then how many times does he keep banging that drum? At what point does he start making decisions as a manager? But I know we don't see, the behind the scenes type of thing. But it's when you go into these games and you just don't feel that some of the results are deserved, kind of thing. You know what I mean? So
How far do you agree with some fans' view that his football has been some of the best football of the last 20 years at Rotherham?
it's it's one of them where you're always going by your last game or the last decisions that they make. I mean, compared to his previous predecessor, it was a different type of football that they were playing. Obviously, this kick it further down to the other half and then see what happens strategy is going to be 50-50 anyway, isn't it? So but he's always come from a League One teams, hasn't he? And then he's come to this league. Don't get me wrong, give him his due. He did keep us where we are, obviously last season and that. So it's just one of them things. It's football, I suppose.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, when you secured championship status last year with that, when you beat Middlesbrough and you finished what
Yeah.
19th, 6 points above the bottom three. Actually, you were a yo-yo club before that, weren't you? You were up down, and actually, Taylor, broke that for
Yeah,
you. So,
yeah.
does he leave with a? Does he leave with a? And it's a short legacy, but does he leave overall with a positive legacy?
I mean, I've spoken to fans on that, and then a few of them said, "Is it the new manager that's coming in? Is he going to make massive amounts of changes? What Taylor had? They don't think so. Was it a bit premature getting rid of him? It's just one of them where it's just, and hindsight's a good thing. We're never going to know, but
Yeah.
it's like I said, he's done well to keep us where we are. It's just I think now we're looking for that something extra now to give us that keep us up there again. I'd say.
I mean, how much finally on this point, if we look at the contenders, how much do you think the £1 million signing this summer, not been incredibly prolific, has weighed into the chairman's decision here?
I think it's been a big one. I think obviously it's a lot of money to spend for a team that we are. I mean, we're not a massive team. You know what I mean? And like he's fair play to the guy. He's took a risk. It's a big risk. It's like it could have gone really well for him. It could have gone the opposite way. But obviously, when your fans are watching every weekend him not playing, as often as we expected. And when they did play him on one of the games, he comes on and does get. He started changing things. He did get a goal, and it's whether then you think, well, they should have put him on a few more times, and that could have changed everything. You never know, do you? So it's one of them.
Okay, so Taylor leaves then following 13 months in charge of the Millers. I've got to ask the obvious question. We're talking just ahead of the Leeds game this weekend. Why do you not have a new manager now in post?
I think to be fair, I think they're quite dubious of getting the right guy now. They want to put the right person in to try and keep us up. If they just go, bull in a china shop, I think we're going to end up being back down to where we've come from. And I think it's going to be really difficult, like fighting all the way through and keeping us up, and then just all of a sudden just throwing it away just because we just want a manager in place, for example. I'd say.
Is there an element of looking at what the fixture is and saying, "Oh well, we'll skip that one and get them in after Leeds have left"?
Yeah, I think although it's a decent, it's a difficult derby to play as well. But I think there's a few rumours going about of what managers they are looking at and who they're looking for. So I think it just depends. But I think by what I've seen as well on social media, I think the team and Rotherham do feel quite confident to play this game this weekend. I think so.
Okay, let's have a look then at the favourites or the running order, so to speak, and we'll get your view. So Steve Evans has been courted, so we're led to believe, and at Stevenage at the weekend he did this kind of very strange goodbye. Some have read perhaps more into it than most. What's your views on him returning to the New York Stadium?
I think it wouldn't be a big thing, as in like it's not a bad shout, to be fair. For he's been quite decent for Leeds before. I think he managed us in 2012 and 2015, so he kind of gets what Rotherham football fans want to see, I think. So I mean, it's fair enough you go watching games, but you still want to see an entertaining game, don't you? That's what you come for. It's all well and good just getting your draws all the time, just sitting back constantly, but that's what you want, that passion, don't you? So maybe that's what.
Yeah, he's a very divisive manager, isn't he? You love him if he's managing your teams, but he can be a bit of a nutcase if you're not. What about the others then? Let's run through these ones. So Gary Rowett, Ryan Creswell, Liam Richardson, the ex-Wigan manager. What do you think to those names? They seem to keep being mentioned.
Yeah, again, it's just, I think for me anyway, personally, I think we've had a few managers now that's been from League One. Maybe we need to start looking at that upper class from League Two management, you know what I mean, and seeing what else they can do to try and give us that extra. For me, it's that little bit extra that we needed, that little bit of class when we're trying to shoot into the goal. Obviously, you got, like I said, Gary there, which is an ex-Millwall manager, did decent. Or you got Wigan, weren't you? Liam Richardson with Wigan. So again, the managers from decent teams before. But obviously, there's mention of someone called Pete Wild as well from Barrow, I believe. He's been mentioned before as well. So whether that's a decent shout, I don't know. It's very.
Yeah, because there is this kind of the safer options, isn't there? I suppose with Rowett and perhaps Steve Evans, Chris Wilder's name's been there as well. Nathan Jones, who comes up for every championship vacancy. But if you look at what Millwall and Bristol City have just done and going and appointing sort of younger, sort of more modern managers, I know they're in a different position in the league to Rotherham, and you can't probably in a position to do that. But somebody like the Barrow manager, would that be the preferred option? Somebody young and upcoming rather than a sort of an old safer pair of hands. What's the Terrace's thoughts?
Yeah, it's one of them really difficult questions where we're looking at, do we want to look at a long game, or do we want to just stay where we are and try and battle our way and just keep where we are in this championship? You know what I mean? It's just, how do we try and justify? Obviously, we do want that. We do want a manager that starts looking at, bringing young players up and keeping them and get him training how we want to play that football. But again, like I think we've spoken before, and a few other people were talking about Warnock as well. But I don't think he's played for us before, but I don't think he would want that job position. I think he's turned it down. So I mean, I thought he would have been a decent manager again to bring him back just to keep us where we need to be. But like I said, it's very difficult. I think for now, having a manager to keep where we are and just try and get us, or pull in another team in this battle to try and keep above the relegation, that's what we need at this minute, I think.
Yeah. Just one on finally. This was I found it a puzzling statement by the chairman Stewart this week. He said on record that the quality of candidates has been good. The shortlist will be down to 3 or 4. But we have about half a dozen in the bag and they're still coming in. They went on to say, I'd be amazed if someone is in before Leeds. We're going to take the luxury of time to make sure somebody fits the slot. Now, reading between the lines, does that mean he's going to take the cheap option and stick with Wayne Carlisle and the team there, Scott Brown, Dan Green, for a number of matches, hope they do well, and just appoint them?
I'm hoping not, but like you said, reading between the lines, it wouldn't surprise me if he did. Just purely the fact of we've spent a lot of money. Like you said, we've already spent $1 million on some players. We've got a lot of new players coming. Like I said, it's just something. It wouldn't surprise me regarding him trying to keep as much money as he can. But whether it could be he's got confidence in the his coaches and the team he's got at the minute. It could be one of them where he thinks we can take that time, which I don't think he wants to rush and just get anybody in, because then it could be disastrous for us. So I think it's a matter of trusting the team that we've got, trusting the management and the coaches, and if it does go well, fair play. And then if it gives us more time to try and get a better caliber of manager, then fair play to it. You know what I mean?
Okay. All right. Last question then, and you know what's coming. Who do you want?
I think, like I said, I would prefer Pete Wild. I think, like you said before, just for the longer game. I mean, for me, it's just all the time we get really well, then we get disappointed with management leaving, like we did last time, and then see where we can progress from there. I think. Yeah.
Okay. All right, we'll get the Leeds view. What do you think about this game then coming up on Friday? It's gonna be a tough one.
Yeah, it's only also Leeds is just a stone throw away from us. Again, it's the playing quite. I think Leeds are always played quite well. Good team. Again, they've come from Premiership again, aren't they? So it's one of them where it's their players are a bit more better calibre, I'd say. But again, Rotherham a bit more gritty, a bit more physical. Again, we're playing at home, so we tend to do a lot better at home. And I'm just hoping that if we play like we have done, or we know we can, you look at, we played against Sheffield United before, and we've absolutely kicked their butt. So, and that just proves that we can do it. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. All right, let's bring in our Leeds fan then, and let's have a good old Yorkshire ding dong. Okay, then let's get your views. First of all, let you talk to each other about what this means for Yorkshire. Obviously, your mutual hatred of the Sheffield clubs aside, is there much rivalry apart from work banter between these two? Ben, what's your view on Leeds Rotherham as a derby, if you can call it that?
To be fair, it's a fixture I don't enjoy because for some reason we never do well against them. I don't know why, but. I can't see any problems Friday, to be honest. I can't see any at all.
What about you, Reece?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Leeds is quite a big team for us to play. We've played Sheffield United. That's like I said before. They were just as good. But we tend to, like I said, Rotherham, we tend to really play really well against big teams. I'm hoping for Leeds though. Obviously this week, some of their teams are playing midweek as well, aren't they? Of other games. So I'm just hoping they're too tired when they end up playing against Rotherham. So fingers crossed.
Okay. All right, let's get some score predictions. Then Reece, will go to you first as the home team. You'll be there Friday night. Which way is it going to go?
Yeah, I said, like I said, although Leeds are a decent team, I'm hoping Rotherham. I'm saying 1-1. saying a draw.
Okay. Yeah, you've not been that bad at home, have you? It's just
just away games, isn't it?
shambles.
Yeah.
Okay. Ben, yeah, you'll be there too. Short drive for you this week. What do you reckon?
2-0. 2-0 Leeds. Put them to bed, get an early goal. Because let's face it, they're going to sit back anyway. Make them come out, just pick them off, and 2-0.
Yeah, that's what habit Leeds tend to do, that, don't they? Just obliterate the opponent in the first half and then come out and take it easy on them for the second half.
The game's done then you can focus on the next one.
Okay. Right, well, listen, I wish you both well. Thanks for joining us, and enjoy your game. We'll all be watching Friday night.
Cheers,
Thank you. See you later.
Fellas.